welcome to the West Ham world. It's a new year. Happy New Year. Paul turns 40 tomorrow, mate. So early happy birthday to you.
Thank you. And yourself, mate? You ain't far behind.
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks, mate. I'm there as well. Mate, big week for West Ham, mate. Since we talked, a lot has gone on. Lopetegui's gone. Graham Potter's in. We're out of the FA Cup. Talk about the week, mate. I've talked about it all week on the channel. What were your views on the whole week in general?
Well, I mean, first of all, I, as much as I feel like, and I've said this repeatedly, I really genuinely don't feel like it was as bad as has been made out. But it was time for him to go. It really was. The overwhelming fans were against him. It sounds like the ball were against him. Not that the players weren't really with him. So it had to happen. And then obviously when it sort of leaked that the decision had been made to let him go, I mean, let's be honest, that was absolute shambles. That 24 hours was a bit of a disgrace. Didn't look good on the club at all.
Monday we knew, but he weren't officially gone until, what was it, Thursday, wasn't it?
It was Wednesday night.
Because he had
Wednesday
one
night
session, Potter, didn't he?
Yeah, so really poorly handled with it being leaked, but it was done. Fair play to Lopetegui. He carried himself well after it all sort of leaked out and carried on working. And the comments he made after he left, I thought was really, really professional, really nice comments about the club and best of luck to him. It didn't work out. These things happen. Best of luck to him in the future. And then now we move on to the next chapter, to Graham Potter.
Have you heard any of the stuff though? Just before we go on to Potter, about a lot of the time when he was doing team talks, he would do it in Spanish, and then someone would translate to him, and there was loads of stuff where they'd be talking in Spanish, and then apparently the Tobido one came from. They were talking in Spanish and they're giving looks over to Tobido, and then Tobido went, "Tell me what you just said in English now." They didn't, and then that's why it kicked off. And then there's been times where, Kudus has been talking to Steiden, and their coaches straight away demand to know what's been said, and that caused that stuff. Do you think it was just toxic in the end as well?
Yeah, I do, mate. I do. I think it we don't know exactly what went on behind the scenes, but you definitely get that impression. And one thing I will say, last night's game, let's be realistic, had absolutely really nothing to do, as far as tactics and all the rest of it goes, nothing really to do with Graham Potter. He's been with the team for like
you say
3 hours.
You say that though, he may have. I think he, if you looked at people saying like cleverer than us, saying that he's packed the midfield out and he's allowed the attackers to sort of go a little bit.
I think maybe in the first half, and the first half we looked pretty good, but again, realistically, he had them for one training session.
He couldn't have done much.
He had them for one training session. But what I will say is, it looked like we had some energy about us. Do you know what I mean? And I think that was the most damning thing with Lopetegui. I think the players just didn't really care. I don't think they were giving their all. I don't think they were putting their everything into the games. And yeah, that's on the players as well. But I think that's caused by the rifts with the manager, not getting on with Lopetegui.
Steiden was banned again from the training ground, just like it was under Moyes. Potter's come in. Yeah, before we go into the game, mate, what do you make of Graham Potter? I'm quite happy with it.
Yeah, I am. I'm not. It's a weird one. I'm going to be optimistic. Always 100% optimistic. I hope he's fantastic for us and he's going to be brilliant. I've said this before. I would never judge anyone, player or manager, on what they've done at Chelsea, especially the time he was there. That club was an absolute shambles, probably worse than we are. So, I don't really judge him by Chelsea. He did fantastically with Brighton, obviously. And I personally don't think there's anyone we could have got better. I really don't.
That was free, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You're talking about realistic options that West Ham are actually going to go and get. He was probably the best pick. I watched a couple of videos on how he likes to play and his style and all the rest of it. He looks promising. He looks good. Whether he can do that with his team, and I think a problem we've got, and this is a problem that's going to be hard to shake off, is you saw it last night. I think last night Fulkrug coming off and Ings coming on absolutely killed us. After that, we had nothing in attack, and then Somerville obviously not coming out for the second half. We had nothing going forward, but we still have that mentality where we just get deeper and deeper and deeper.
Mm.
And Potter actually came out after the game in his interview and said that we were dropping back needlessly. We shouldn't be dropping back like that. We should be pushing out, winning the ball out the pitch. But that's been instilled into them players for years under David Moyes. Sorry to keep going back to David Moyes, but that's what it is. It was
Well, mate,
instilled into them.
yeah, there's still a lot of Moyes players there, and like you say, mate, and Lopetegui was a bit of a low block player I don't know, high line with weird low block tactic, very strange. Yeah, and they've still got that mindset, and that's going to take, that might take end of the season. He's got the longest pre-season he's got now. That's the good thing with it. He can treat this now as a massive pre-season, as long as we don't get pulled into a relegation battle.
Yeah.
That's the danger, isn't it? That is the danger.
Yeah, and I
Comments,
can't,
guys. I will go into the comments in a minute.
I can't see that happening. I don't see there being any danger of relegation for us. I don't think there would have been under Lopetegui either, to be honest. I think we're safe
You
from
say that, if
relegation
we
this
don't sign
season.
a striker with it, might be some trouble.
Well, this is true. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about the game though. Let's talk about the game properly. So, I think the biggest thing that happened yesterday for me, and I said it to you, didn't I? For wrestling fans out there, Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, as you know, he's famous for a thing called a cheap pop, where he'll just say the name of the city that he's in to get a quick reaction from the fans. And I think as soon as I see Ollie Scholes in the teammate starting, straight away, that's, when we say the West Ham way, that's one of the little ticks of the West Ham way, yeah?
Of course, yeah, absolutely. And like you say, mate, it's an easy win with the fans. But more importantly, Scholes didn't look out of place. He didn't look out of
He
place.
got man of the match.
He did really well. And again, that's something that Potter's known for is for trying to bring through the youth players. And he's mentioned the academy and the youth teams a few times. And yeah, really good to see Scholes start. And you'd like to think, obviously, Cresswell will be gone at the end of the season. What's going to happen with Emerson, I don't know. But you'd like to think now that Scholes is going to be there now. He's going to be part of that setup.
Yeah, 100%, mate. So, like you say, mate, a lot of people have been saying that that's one of the best halves of football we've played this season. Do you agree? I agree. I actually enjoyed it. It looked like the front four could move. We was in a mid-block, so it clearly said to Alvarez and Souček, you sit, and the other four just go boom, 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 boom. Somerville was over on the right, and then Kudus was more as a sort of inside forward. Yeah, I liked what I see in that sort of first 20, 25 minutes before Fulkrug went off.
Yeah. No, we did look good. Like you say, before Fulkrug went off, that was the key, and it's such a shame because I think if he could stay fit, he'd be such a big player for us. But it looks like he's just not going to be able to stay fit. It's a pretty bad one. And when he went off, we lost our focal point. And then when Somerville went off at half time, obviously it just made it worse. But yeah, I did like what I saw.
Good goal. Like,
it was a very good goal. We nearly scored the same goal twice, pretty much.
Yeah.
Paqueta looks like he's all of a sudden woken up and decided he's going to play football again.
Until he went off as well.
Somerville was fantastic. We played really, really well, and it makes a change for us to get some kind of new manager bounce. Do you know what I mean? And like I say, the biggest thing for me that we didn't have under the last, couple of months of Lopetegui, the players looked like they had some energy about them. They looked like they actually had some desire and had something to prove, which is important.
The point that was made was, I don't think that if we wouldn't have had those injuries, I think we would have gone on and won the game. I think Villa didn't really improve their levels. It's just that we couldn't do what we were doing when we had Somerville and Fulkrug on the pitch, mate.
I agree. Sorry, I have to. I can't do it on this new software. I can't highlight comments. I don't even know it's from. It's from is all I can see. But just because there's a fantastic word, effervescence.
Effervescence. Oh, that's the West Ham Massive channel.
Courage and effervescence.
He went to a clever school if he's from Canning Town.
Fantastic word, yeah.
Quite a bit of previous years. Yeah, cheers for that, mate. Cheers.
Yeah, no, it was good, mate. Really good. I agree with you. I think we would have gone on to win that. comfortably if Fulkrug had stayed on the pitch, or if we had a decent striker to come in instead. I feel
It
bad for
became
Danny
easier to
Ings.
mark, didn't it? You know, when it was Fulkrug, Kudus, Somerville, Paquetá, the Villa defence think, Jesus Christ, where's all this attack coming from? Then to just mark Kudus and just mark Paquetá,
Yeah.
you know, it becomes a lot easier to play out. And then Morgan came on and he was brilliant. Ramsey come on, he was brilliant as well, wasn't he?
Mm.
Yeah. What about their goal then? So the most dodgiest corner I've ever seen in my life.
Unbelievable, and it's insane now because when you watch the replays, the referee was right in line with it. I don't know. To be fair, right, you have to say he missed one a couple of minutes
Yeah,
before
yeah. To be fair,
when they should have had a corner
yeah.
and they didn't get it. And then this one came, it should have been a goal kick. We didn't get it. So
And
you
they
have to
got it, yeah,
say it's rubbish because they scored from it. But these things happen in games. Do you know what I mean? Like I
yeah.
say, we had one a couple of minutes before. This one didn't go for us. And then, as the commentators were saying, you still got to defend the corner. All right, it shouldn't have been a corner. It was given. Switch on, defend it. Paqueta goes down, holding his face, trying to get something that shouldn't have been. That was stupid. So we're a man down in the box. And then it was just a bit of panic. Um, at first,
Second goal, wasn't it?
yeah, at first, I thought Fabianski was at fault for not holding it. But then, to be fair, looking at the replays, it did cannon off of Souček. So that was a bit of an unfair one for me to criticise Fabianski. But yeah, and after that, it was that weakness. That's what Potter has got in front of him.
I'm going to say a name, mate, and I know you're going to follow it up with another name straight away because I know what your opinions are on him. I'm going to say Mavropanos, and I know you're going to straight away say, but, and who stands next to him. There's
Both
a
of
problem
them.
there, isn't there? There's a problem there.
Both of them are shocking. And it's a shame because, listen, I want to see what happens when they're given some time under a different coach. Mavropanos, I think he's so frustrating. He's like, it's a Diop. He's got all the tools. It's all there. But then every game he's got a mistake in him. Every game he does something stupid.
Yeah, like when he tried to headbutt the geezer's leg.
Yeah, you see what he was trying to do. He
Yeah.
went down and he made a mistake, and then he was trying to head the
But his
ball.
mistakes always seem to be really dodgy ones, where it's like leads to a goal.
Yeah, he makes them big mistakes. And for me, Kilman ain't much better. He really ain't. I think
No, I think he's been exposed a little bit recently.
I think I'm surprised that he's very weak. He's a very weak centre back.
For a big man, yeah, and he is a big geezer.
Yeah. Honestly, both of them are really bad. Tadebo's like disappeared off the face of the earth.
Well, he's injured. To be
Apparently.
Yeah, from the Man City game, apparently he is injured. But hopefully he can come back in.
So yeah, we've got a lot of work there. And then I think Soufal's a problem as well. When Soufal came on, for the second goal, Soufal, where was Soufal? Soufal was supposed to be playing behind Wan-Bissaka. Soufal was supposed to be that third centre back. Where was he?
He just like disappeared.
Yeah, so I think there's a problem. Really, if we're looking at this, we've got quite a lot of problems. We spent so much money on the defence in the summer, and we've fixed nothing.
Yeah, I'm going to go through some of the comments, mate, because I'm losing track of them. Feel bad for Fulkrug, but I do have to question if he was adequately warmed up. Maybe that, and maybe because he hasn't played that much, and and he's gone for a few runs full of energy, and he's just, it was cold yesterday as well. That's always, renowned for hamstrings, the cold weather. Somerville on the right was quite a master stroke. Yeah, hopefully his one isn't that bad, and it was more a precautionary one. Fulkrug's injury, surely 2 to 3 months. Probably at his age, mate, it probably is. Who will Hobnob pubes take at Everton, Soufal or Souček? Good question. Seen this come up on quite a lot of West Ham channels. Obviously, David Moyes, mate. Looks like he's going to Everton. Looks like it's more or less done. Do you think there might be a chance he takes Souček off our hands? Or do you think we would even sell him?
I don't think we would. I don't think we would. I think it would take a big offer to sell him. I do. I think it would take a big offer to sell him. And I'll be honest with you, I think it will be a bad decision to sell him in January. Regardless of what you think about his ability, he's a big character. At the moment, Souček is the heart of this team.
Yeah. I think that's a fair point. I think he is. He looks like he's a liked guy as well, doesn't he? But he slows down, moves down so much.
Yeah, like I say, I'm not even and
Just to be
he
around a squad, like old
yeah,
Grant sort of
exactly.
character.
And I think he's done well this season. I do. I think Socek's done well this season. But yeah, he's such a big character and, like you say, a liked figure. Currently, with Bowen out, he's the captain. I think it would be a bad idea to sell him in January.
Just before I go back in the comments, then, mate. So from last night's game, Potter's first game, obviously he didn't have long to do. What would you give that sort of so far out of 10?
I don't know, 7, 6, 6.5.
There was enough there, weren't there? There was enough there just from one game.
Promising signs. I don't want to. I don't even want to rate it because he's had 3 hours with the team. So
Yeah.
I don't. That's nothing. It means nothing. It was. It was a. It was basically for me a chance for him to see what he had.
Yeah, and probably look at it and think, Jesus, I've actually got to do a little bit more work than I thought I actually did have. Sorry, the only thing I hate about this software is as soon as someone puts a chat in, it skips to the bottom rather than just staying where I was, which is really annoying. Anyway, so what do we need then, mate? There's loads of rumours about Jonathan David again, like every year. And apparently the rumour is you can get it for 25 million. Oh, mate, just go and do it.
Yeah, he's out of contract in the summer, so he's probably
still paid 25 million.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's probably going to go in January because of that. The only reason he wouldn't is if he's thinking to himself, well, I might as well hold out, get a free transfer, and get a massive contract.
Yeah. So I'm just skipping a few through there. Somerville and Kudus hunting in packs worked really well. Moyes turned down the chance to sign Morgan Rogers. No shock there. We know about his. You have to be tested. You have to have been played and be 29 and be able to jump up in the air a bit. Yeah, what do you make of Moyes to Everton, mate? Before I go back to the transfer, what do you make of that? I think is that just a firefighting job for him?
Kind of inevitable, isn't it? Inevitable. It's funny that he was in the press not that long ago saying, "Oh no, I'm not going to. I've got a European trophy now. At 3-4 years in Europe, I'm not going to be taking another job where I'll be fighting relegation." Oh yeah, all right, mate.
Well, I know you was very frustrated with how the media was talking about Moyes again, mate. When are they going to drop that with West Ham? It just does my nuts.
They won't drop it. Listen, I hope he relegates Everton. I do.
I genuinely do, and I like Everton. I quite like Everton as a football team. I used to anyway. I hope he does. I really hope he fouls. Honestly, that's going to set. They'll be like, he's that great. He's never.
I'm the same as you. I agree, mate. I hope he relegates them. I do. Because I'm sick of every single time anything's mentioned about West Ham. Yeah, well, they shouldn't have got rid of David Moyes. Be careful what you wish for.
I'll let you know, mate. So what's he saying? What's the streaming service? It's called Riverside, mate. The reason I changed to this is because StreamYard went up to like ridiculous, something like
£600 a month.
And it was like, nah, I ain't paying that. Do you know what I mean? We don't make no money from this channel. It's purely just for a laugh, There's loads of comments, guys, but like I say, this thing is so annoying. If money was no object, then get rid and replace Info, Soufal, Mav, Emerson, Fulkrug, Rodders, and cover for Scholes. Yeah, I think Rodriguez will go. I would keep Tatty, although he is frustrating, of course. I'm lost. Who's Tatty?
Don't know. Tatty? Who's Tatty?
Tatty? No, I'm lost. You're going to have to tell me who Tatty is. I'm lost. If a bid come in for Kudus in this window, which put 100 million in the fund, and he had players lined up, would you? I'll let you have that, mate. Go.
So what are we valuing there? I mean, Kudus' release clause is 85 million, so that's only 15 million for Alvarez. I'd sell both of them. If the proper offer came in, I think personally for two of them, I'd want a bit more than that, which seems a bit mad for me to even say. Maybe 110. Like I would want the release clause for Kudus, and listen, I would sell him, no problem, because I don't think he wants to be at West Ham.
I think with Kudus, what will help us is yeah. So I just laughed at that myself. I think the thing with Kudus is with Potter now, if we get performances like we did last night, where he played well, we looked up for it, he may well look back to that 85 million buyout clause. in the summer, which means we may as well just wait, and hope he puts in a good enough performance between now and the end of the season and rejuvenated. No?
Yeah, no, I agree. But like I say, if although it would need to be at least the release clause for me.
Yeah.
If someone slapped £85 million on the table, and I think if you're paying out the release clause, it has to be in a lump sum as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So if someone
Yeah,
slapped
that's
that
what
on the
they were saying
table,
that we could potentially, when they were saying about 100 million, 100 million is more realistic because they could pay it over 2 or 3 years.
yeah. So I would 100% take it. Bowen will be back this season. We've
Yeah.
got Somerville who can play there. We've got Guillaume who can play there. So you know, I think we've got enough there. And yeah, if he had players lined up that he wanted to bring in, yeah, I would do that deal. I would.
Yeah. A couple of players that have been linked, mate, is Dewsbury Hall from Chelsea. A good English midfielder. I think we need it. I think a midfielder is important to what we're trying to do. Obviously Jonathan David, but someone said there that it looks like he could be off to Bayern Munich. That wouldn't surprise me at all. But then there might be something there where he thinks, am I going to get in front of Harry Kane? You know, who else was it? Ben Chilwell. What do you make of that one? Ben Meltwell. Gets injured a lot. Great player when fit.
I
Classic
think
West Ham.
that right there, mate. That's the caveat for most of the players I've seen us linked with in January when fit. We're linked with a lot of injury-prone players, and right now with an injury crisis
Even
coming
Evan
in,
Ferguson. I like Evan
but
Ferguson,
no,
but
I
he's
wouldn't
another
touch
one,
him.
mate. Like Andy Carroll gets
Yeah,
injured all the time.
I wouldn't touch him, mate. I wouldn't. Like if they're open to selling him, they must know there's something wrong there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because Brighton don't do bad business, do they?
Nah.
Brighton are very clever with their business.
So I wouldn't touch him. I wouldn't.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a good point, mate. That is a good point. Obviously, there's the other guy. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm some expert on that. I think his name's Latte Lath, the Middlesbrough striker. That's another one I wouldn't mind seeing West Ham bring in. Just we've got to bring a striker in. We have to bring one in now because we can't rush Bowen back. Fulkrug's done probably now to the end of the season potentially, and Danny Ings just there's nothing there with Ings, is there? That's the scary thing. It will be Danny Ings potentially up front.
Right, massively unrealistic in my opinion. But what do you make of the Marcus Rashford on loan rumours?
I was actually going to ask you that. Now that we're slightly desperate, if there was a chance, yes. If you would have asked me that before the injuries, I would have said no. But because we are quite desperate, and it is January, we haven't got long. Yeah, I probably would. What about you?
I definitely would. Absolutely would. Yeah, he can play up front. He can play off the left. I would take him all day long. I think it's massively unrealistic. I don't think Marcus Rashford is going to be
No, I think
thinking
he's going
about
away
West
to
Ham.
Milan by all accounts.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be
Going to
thinking about
Milan.
West Ham United. But yeah, of course. And again, but this is anyone we bring in January. There's going to be There's going to be an if on anyone we bring in. If Marcus Rashford, like, all of a sudden comes to West Ham, feels a bit loved, bit like Jesse Lingard, and gets to his top form again, he'd be our best player by an absolute mile.
Oh, mate, yeah. If you get peak Rashford, like you say, mate, yeah, one of the best players that West Ham have had, yeah, because he is on his day, he is amazing footballer, mate. But I don't know where his head's at. I don't know where his brain's at. I think he has to go. I think he has to move from Manchester United now. I think his time's done now.
He's only 27 as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I don't know. Like I say, depends. But Sid said they're not good for the dressing room. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. The lap I would absolutely love. Some people are putting in the lap there, but I think you're right, mate. I think you're looking at big money for him. But he looks special. He looks very, very special. Another one, I think another name they said was Dominic Calvert-Lewin. No, God, no. No, I don't want that. Yeah. But do you think we're actually paid for anyone, or do you think it'd be mainly loans?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. It's hard to know, isn't it? Because I suppose so Potter's on a 2.5 year contract, right? So they've given him time. So you like to think they're going to back him. What I reckon they might say is, listen, this is your budget, but whatever you spend now is going to come out of the summer budget as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. And then obviously you get the sales, don't you? Because like you say, in the summer probably Caduce will go. I reckon Alvarez will go.
Mm.
Um, yeah, probably a few others will go as well. I reckon Rodriguez might go in this window. I reckon he'd go this window. To be honest
I
with you.
think a massive thing is the amount. I think there's what 6 players or something out of contract in the
Mm.
summer. So really, we need to be bringing players in now, even just for that, because you don't want to be bringing in like we need a couple now already. If we lose 5, 6 players to contracts in the summer, do you really want to be bringing in like 8 players in one window? You know, we've seen how that goes.
Gate and Lombardi from Nice has been linked, but not from me. There's a few strikers that have been linked. I'll probably do a show on it next week. Talk about it. Potter wouldn't go for Pogba. No, I wouldn't want Pogba. What about you? Would you take Pogba?
Nah,
No. But he's another one
he's
though.
he's another one that's like. Oh, I say that he's like. It's like Balotelli when the Balotelli rumours were flying around. Like
Yeah.
you got, he's a
West Ham
maverick.
would have loved Balotelli as well. I think.
Yeah, he's one of those players where you gotta know what you're getting into, and you gotta
Mm.
just accept it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think what else I wanted to talk about. Obviously, that's the transfers. Yeah, so Fulham in the week. Potter's next game. Um, what can he do, mate? What's he need to change? There's not much he can do. It's quite hard, isn't it?
Yeah, with the injuries, now he's gonna have a decent. I say a decent amount of time. We're still talking a matter of days, but he'll have a bit more time with the squad, and I just want to see steady progress. That's it. I'm not expecting miracles. I'm not expecting us in 2 weeks to look like a completely different team. I'm not expecting that, but I just want to see steady progress.
What's success then? Between now and the end of the season for Potter, what does success look like, and what does failure look like between now and the end of the season?
Well, success now is better in what Lopetegui did in the first half of the season. If he doesn't, then it's a failure. If he don't improve on what has already come for what we sacked the manager for, then that's a failure. So,
Without a pre-season and without his own players,
yeah,
that's still a failure.
in my opinion, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
In my
No,
opinion,
that's fair enough.
I want to see. I want to see a top half finish. If or even if we can finish 11th.
Yeah, 11th, 12th. I was going to say, I would have said 11th, 12th would have
Yeah.
been a success. Means we would have turned it around and got comfortably safe. And failure is relegation.
Well, failure obviously is relegation.
Yeah.
Like I say, failure for me is if we don't improve on where we were. You can say, oh, he didn't have a pre-season, he hasn't got his own players, blah blah blah. Well, according to most fans, this is I've seen fans genuinely say this season's been worse than Avram, even though Grant was bottom of the league. So I've seen such rubbish. I'm sorry, I have. I've seen such rubbish from people.
Yeah, but we had Scotty, mate. We had Scotty Parker, mate, still scoring goals.
Don't start on Parker. Don't.
Yeah.
So nah, if it's been as bad as everyone says it's been, and bad enough to sack the manager, he tied the days as West Ham manager with Lou Macari, joint shortest time period for a West Ham manager ever. If Potter can't improve on them results, then yeah, 100% I consider that a
That's
failure.
a fair point. The way you put it there was fairer. Yeah, would you bring anyone back from loan? A couple of people there said Callum Marshall, Dan Potts, and obviously got George Urphy as well.
I'd bring them
I'd
back
love
if
to
they're
see
going to be
Potts come
used.
back. I'd love to see Potts come back, but I think carrying on that this year, he'll be ready to go potentially next year.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let them stay where they are. Let them have the season. I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. If we're talking about bringing players back, I'd be more inclined, not the youth players. I'd be more inclined bring back Ward-Prowse if you want an extra man in midfield. Bring back a Gerd. If you think we need another option in defence, I'd be more inclined to see
I'd
that.
bring back a Gerd. I would bring back a Gerd. Because I think he likes a ball playing centre back, and it could work.
Mm.
But again, apparently, he's been doing so well, mate. You might be able to get good money for him. So he's one that might be worth trying to sell if we can in January if someone wants him.
Mm.
Real Madrid were linked at one point. I think that's gone a bit quiet now, but they were linked. Where are we? Yeah, someone's saying there if we get 10 to 12 right now, it'd be a good season. Do you think Mavropanos has a future at the club?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. Not necessarily, and I don't think he's supposed to be. He's not supposed. He wasn't supposed to be a starting defender this season. It was obviously supposed to be Kilman and Tadibo. So if you as a backup centre half, yeah, I think he's fine for that.
Yeah. We have JWP and 99 Ice Cream returning. Oh yeah, Cornet as well. Yeah, I forgot about him.
Did he even play any minutes at all on
I
loan?
don't think so, mate. I don't think so. And they've
Hey,
basically
that's
said, look,
striker
go back.
solved, mate. There you go.
Yeah. Giving time. Giving time. Get the players he needs for the system. Yeah, yeah. Like I say, it's an extended pre-season. This now. I said in our last season at Bowling we should have tabled a 20 million bid for Rashford back then. I don't think we would have got him then, mate. Avram didn't have the quality of player we have now. He had Scotty Parker, mate. One of the best players that's ever played for West Ham in my generation, mate. He did. Who was his striker? Who would have been his striker? Colton?
Yeah, yeah, Colton, because Colton played in the snow that year, and
And
Johnny Spector. Yep.
Johnny, yeah. Roger the Relegator.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Was Roger under Grant? Was that under Grant?
I can't remember, mate. George McCartney left back. Right back. Who would have been the right back that era? I can't remember. I cannot remember. But like Diamante, maybe someone like that in there. So I'm just going to do a few more comments. Success would be for Potter to steady the ship, carry on attacking football, and get us up the table a few positions and bet in some more kids. I agree. I love seeing the youth players. Potter had Mapai at Brighton, completely opposite to Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Mopai only ever scored against us.
Exactly. We need a striker in the mould of Jonathan David, but will he come? And if so, how much will it cost? No, I think he gets his big move, to be honest with you. Real still want a Gerd, 30 million in the coffers, please. Yeah, get it done. If they want him, take him. Be another player. Who was the last player, mate? There you go. There's a quiz question for you. Last player to go from West Ham to Real Madrid.
Mr. Faubert.
Yes. Mr.
And funny enough, for my birthday, I don't think he's in the stream, but our mate Bowden actually bought me a Faubert Bordeaux football shirt, which I've got over there. So there you go. Yeah.
Embuemo has always been a great player. Yeah, we've got no chance with him. That's one. I think Arsenal are linked with him. 10th would be a success.
Yeah, I agree. 10th is a success for you.
Yeah, you're right, mate. You are right, Brian. Demba Ba.
Demba
because we
Ba,
got relegated
wow.
and then we sold him. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Great
What a player he was, yeah.
Yeah, what a player. This season is over. Success would be entertainment and stabilising the club. Yeah, that's a fair point as well. That's a fair point as well. Anything else, mate? West Ham? I think, until a transfer comes through now, I don't think there's much else. Obviously, been a big week with the manager. Just got to get some players in, haven't we? We've got to get players in.
Yeah. Desperate for numbers now. Like you say, striker is absolute necessity. We can't play with Danny Ings up front. We can't. Absolute necessity. So yeah, apart from that though, like you say, it's just and I agree with Michael there. Same thing. Stabilise. I want to see steady progress. As I say, I'm not expecting overnight success. I'm not expecting us to look like a different team.
By about with 5 or 6 games to go, you really start seeing that identity that West Ham hopefully will go on and become. I'll tell you one thing I will just quickly discuss, Matt. I know you haven't got long, but just quickly. So on Steidon, where do you see his future? Do you think he will go or do you think he stays? I think he stays. I think there's a bit more in it, I think, but all the rumours are that he's Kretinsky's eyes and ears, and that's the reason he hasn't been sacked yet, because he can't be sacked unless it's a big, bold decision. He was there for the Potter interview. We've seen the picture. He was there on the video, weren't he? Very briefly, you see him.
Yeah, he was showing him around the the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously there was rumours there. I know that the West Ham Massive put in there about Dan Ashworth. Yeah, what do you make of it, mate? I think he stays.
Probably. It's a real difficult one. I've had arguments recently about Tim Steedon and people saying he's a failure. He hasn't done good enough.
He's not a failure.
But you can't you literally can't judge him because none of us, and I mean literally none of us, know what his actual job is.
No, and
Unless you
he's
can
not.
tell
And
me.
he is, if he is the director of football, he's not been allowed to do his job properly.
And that's the thing. No, and it's if he's this or if he's that, if he's in charge of this, nobody knows, right? Unless you can show me what his day-to-day responsibilities are, what his targets are, what he's actually responsible for, and nobody can because it's never been made public. You can't judge him. You can't say he's done well or not. So, do I think he'll stay? And I think you're probably right. I think there might be something to that with the Kretinsky sort of eyes and ears. One of the things that I was reading that apparently he gets on really well with the players, and this is why he was banned from the changing room, from the training ground. Apparently, he's got a really good relationship with the players, and when the players weren't happy with the manager,
They was going to him.
they
Yeah,
were
I read
going to
that as
him.
well. Yeah.
So, and the manager saw that as them being undermined. So, if he's got a good relationship with the players, and until you can show me what he's fouled on, I say he stays.
Yeah, and I think, when people were throwing out, and I'm guilty of it as well, throwing out about Fulkrug was a failure. But then you see that, again, he's injured sadly, but you see that performance last night when bodies were around him, and he looked brilliant, didn't he? And he scored 2 goals since he's been back fit. Do you call that a failure? I think it's too early to say. Gadus wasn't a failure last year, and it's just gone off the ball a little bit because of Lopetegui. Alvarez was brilliant this year, gone off the ball a little bit. You know, you would argue that the ones that he brought in, Rodriguez, etc., are the ones that did foul. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think having Steiden, he seems to have the smooze. He can smooze a player to sell the dream, like Tobido. He could. Would Tobido have come to West Ham without Steiden? I don't know. I don't know. Just gonna have these. Would you bring in Dan Ashworth though, if there was a chance?
Again, it depends on what the role is. And I've said this before as well. If we are going to do this as a club, you need to commit to it. If we're going to bring in Dan Ashworth or if we're going to stick to Steeden, you need to let them have control. It's pointless. It doesn't matter who we bring in if the final say is still down to David Sullivan.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with it. Obviously, you meant to write Kretinsky, but yeah, I think Kretinsky, Steiden's quite hard to sack at the minute. And by all accounts, Sullivan didn't really want Potter, but the rest of the board did have it, and maybe the board's slowly changing. Who knows? Who knows? Mike says that he's head of recruitment.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. That's just a vague term. It doesn't mean anything.
No money in January, according to Sullivan. He says that every year.
Yeah. And you
You're
kind of
not
have to
allowed
say that.
you've got money.
Yeah.
You're not. It's a game. It's all a big poker game, football management. Oh, we haven't got money. If we come out and go, oh, yeah, we've got 70, 80 million, all the clubs, that's what your price starts at. Yeah, Dewsbury, yeah, I did say that. That apparently is the one. Duran to Fulkrug is ridiculous change in transfer. It was.
I don't.
Apparently,
I don't. Sorry, I said this at the time. I don't buy that we got Fulkrug because we didn't get Duran. I don't buy that. I feel like it was supposed to be both. I will not accept that it was. Oh, we didn't get Duran, so we got Fulkrug instead. I'm certain we were supposed to get both.
And I'm also with Guilherme, mate. What I've seen a couple of times that he's played, he looks right. It looks like it's too early to call an 18-year-old kid a failure as well. You can't even say that one. There are some rumours about Duran still in there, mate, for 60 mil. West Ham are not going to pay 60 mil, but apparently, he won't go to an Arsenal. He wouldn't go to a Chelsea or even a Newcastle because he knows he'll be behind Isak, behind this one, behind this one, behind this one. If there was any chance at all of West Ham paying it, should West Ham go and do that business?
1,000,000%. And we know that he would come to West Ham. We know he would come to West Ham. Yeah, 1,000,000%. If there was a chance of doing it, do it. I don't think we will. I think it's massively unlikely. But if there was a chance, absolutely do it.
Yeah, I agree. Right, I'm going to leave it there because Paul is, going to off to enjoy his 40th year for a week or so. I'll be back. Fulham preview, Fulham review, loads of games thick and fast. I think there's 3 games in 10 days. I think coming up. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hit the like button before you leave. And until next time, guys, come on, you irons. Keep believing. Let's go.
Cheers.